So this week we are at Monza in the ASR 1991 F1 mods, which is a fantastic mod. I'm really loving these cars. I'm in the minardi, I believe, and Monza's a pretty good track for these cars. It's been pretty good. Everyone seems to be liking them. So we're gonna do a track guide for this course, and essentially when we leave the pits, which is where we start every week, just stay to the right of the white line. The racing line's over on the left, and then we're going to be braking a little bit past the 150, exiting the pits. And then just make sure you make this turn, don't disrupt anyone, and then we'll start the track guide. So I'm going to cut to the start-finish line. So here we are at the start-finish line. We'll be carrying a lot of speed out of the parabolica, or whatever they're changing it into. And we'll be staying on the left, so we're just going to be basically pitting the whole way. Up into 6th gear, passing 200 miles an hour, staying on the left. People coming out of the pits will be on the right. And then the first brake zone is going to be right past or at the 150. I usually do a little bit past it just because I know my braking zones is pretty decent. Some people may be able to push this 100, but not many. So 150 is a pretty good starting point, and then start pushing your way forward and see where you can go. And then downshift the whole way down to second. I usually do second because you don't spin as much on your exit. And then right around here is my turn-in point, so about halfway through this green grassy stuff on the left. Turn in, as I said, we're going to be in second. Hitting this apex, don't hit the curbing. Don't hit the little sausages. And then hitting the apex on our left. And then using all of the track, but not the rumble strip because that's a little bit slicker. And like I said, second gear, just so we don't get a whole bunch of wheel spin. If you're in first, depending on your gearing, you might be able to get away with it. Over to the left, and then cutting right. Try not to get onto the curbing or the grass. You'll lose like half of a tenth or something like that. But you know, it could disrupt the car and make it shake or so. Getting into this braking zone for the second chicane, I like to brake right around here, just right when we get under the bridge. The nice little orange thing on the right is also a pretty good indicator if you're looking for something. Maybe halfway between, or like a little bit in front of the 100 marker. Just look for your indicator. I usually do right under the bridge, and that's pretty good. Downshifting and turning in about halfway through the rumble strip on our right. I'm usually in second. Don't hit the sausages again, but hit your apexes, because if you hit those, you'll be tossed off again. The same thing as the other one. We can use this rumble strip, it's not terrible, but try and stay off of it because you will get a little bit of wheel spin if you're pushing a little bit too hard. Then we're powering through. Now this one's a little bit more difficult for a braking zone. I usually brake right around here. And the reason this is a hard brake zone to show is because there's literally nothing here. I usually do a little bit before that little orange guardrail on our right. Or you can also see on your left, there's a little bit over there, or just know that you're a little bit up front from the little service road in front of you on our left. But beyond that, it's just a tap of the brakes and then downshift from fourth, I believe, down in the third. And then we're really trying to hit this racing line, hit the apex, not too hard, but hit the apex, and then power as much as we can. We can use all of this out here, but don't hit the grass. That'll be rough because you'll be a lot more likely to spin. And then coming up to here, braking right around the 60 marker, 75 to 60. Okay, 75 to 60. I've been braking pretty hard and then down in either second or third, depending on how well I'm doing. Second gives you a little bit better exit. Hit the apex. Second gear, you can push a little bit. Third gear gets a little bit less wheel spin. Again, we can use all of this road out there. Make sure you're back before the grass. Then we're back on the racing line. We can use that. It's a little bit of a dip, but you can usually get away with it if you're hitting that rumble strip. Coming into this braking zone, best way to describe it, service road right here in the shadow on our right is where we want to brake. Braking down into third gear and turning in once again right around halfway through this rumble strip. Turn in. I usually don't, but the little rumble strips over here aren't actually that bad to hit, and it doesn't invalidate your lap. So if you hit them, it's not the end of the world, but I usually don't try and hit them. I usually try and barely miss them because that rumble strip there actually is like perfectly flat. And then we're in third, up into fourth, flat out. So we're in fourth here. I don't like to dip my tire onto this rumble strip in here because it is dipped and I've gotten some wonky physics out of it before. But if you do, it's not the end of the world. You can usually save it. And then we're going to really try and nail this one because it actually kind of like hooks us through. And then we're going to be on pretty much flat out and we're going to be forced to go way wide. But luckily this isn't invalidating a lap unless we go out into the grass or really far out here. So we can use all of this area for the most part and still have a valid lap. As you can see, we're still on a valid lap. So then kind of do a nice mellow line to get back over to the left into the final braking zone, which is going to be just past the 100, about the 80, I'd say, or like right around halfway through this green zone on our left is where I usually try and target for a pretty decent break. And then down into third, and then I usually let the car coast and then use either a coast or a throttle to position myself for this last apex. If I know I overshot it and I need to get back into the corner, I let the car coast so that it grips up and goes into the corner. If I undershot it and I'm going to be going into this grass on our right, I use a bit of the throttle so that it carries the car out wide, basically a little bit of understeer to get the car out wider. So I hit this apex coming out, which is going to be apexing right around here, and then power out as much as we can. We're trying to power out to here. Now, the biggest worry here is we do not, I guess back here, we do not want to dip tires off, as we just got a cut. If you dip tires, all 4 or 3 off the white line, you're going to cut a lap. You have to keep 2 tires off, 2 tires on. Biggest thing I can say is I've lost a lot of laps that way. And then the racing line's over here. There's an argument to be made. The shortest line is actually here because of where the start-finish line is, which is right up here. But I've just gotten in the habit of going left because that's where the racing line is. But you may be able to cut a couple half seconds or so, or half tenths off if you go to the right. But yeah, that's a lap in the ASR mods. It's a great mod. These cars are fun to drive. They feel great. Each car drives a little bit different. I'm going to include a 129.4, I believe, which is a pretty quick lap around here in these cars. I think these are going to be really cool cars. I think they're going to be added to the collection of cars that are going to be in the rotation for Lopen, and I hope to see you out there. I hope to have fun, and remember to wait up for people you wreck.